In this video, we are going to build a portfolio page, a challenge by Freecodecamp. We are going to finish the last challenge from the responsive web design projects, which is the build a portfolio page. The challenge which is given to us would be something similar like this. We are going to mimic this, but we are not going to copy the same projects. But we are going to build our own. Final product will be like this: a navigation bar, text, intro, welcome section, a little bit of section about us, and we're going to add some projects all the way. We got 4 projects which we worked on the responsive web design. These are the 4 projects. And all the way at the bottom, we're going to add some socials, how they can contact you if you wanted to add your contact information. Before further ado, let's jump out to CodePen and let's build this site. All right, these are your responsive web design projects. Then you build the tribute page, survey, product landing page, technical documentation page, and the last one left is the personal portfolio page. Right over here, we have about 11 user stories. And if you don't know what user stories are, just click on this link over here. It will tell you what user stories are. And in order to complete this, please come all the way at the bottom over here. Use this CodePen template, and it actually will open into something like this. Take a minute to read all these comments. And once you're done reading, just delete them out and do the same thing for the one inside the JavaScript. But we are not going to use any JavaScript. I actually have a section. So our first section is going to be this. We have a navigation bar on the top. We got text will be at the left, and we have this image. So what we're going to do, we're going to start building this one. Add some styles to it. So we're going to add let me increase the size so that it's more visible. So I'm going to add a body. I'm going to give a quick background color. I'm going to give 221515. I'm going to make the entire color as white. White would be 3 Fs will be white. I'm actually importing a couple of fonts. We'll be using Genos from Google Fonts. I'm also going to use Lexend from these fonts. Before we enter those, let me create a head tag inside the HTML. I'm going to add a viewport so that it can be properly visible on all the devices. So we're going to add the viewport, and if you go have a look, you can copy all these sections from the font styles. So just copy, go back to your CodePen, paste it over here, save this for a second. In order the fonts to work, we're going to import these 2 fonts as well, but I'm going to do it independently. So first we're going to do, for the entire body, I'm going to add this. I'm going to give some font weight as well. So let's say I'm going to do font weight. I'm going to make this say bold. Let's also look at, in order for this to work, we need to import some script tags. The navigation won't work until or unless you have a script tag. So I believe if you go inside the Bootstrap navigation, you have all these script tags over here. Copy those script tags so that they can be applied into it. But question is, where do you place your script tag? Script tag goes all the way inside this one. I'm going to paste this in HTML. All the way at the bottom, so we don't need it. I'm gonna press enter. It goes all the way at the bottom. Once it is done, we're going to go into our user stories and fill out all the user stories. I believe I need to add some Bootstrap as well. Did I add Bootstrap? Let me check. I don't think I added Bootstrap. Okay, I'm gonna add Bootstrap. So Bootstrap 5.02, and not only Bootstrap, we're going to use Font Awesome. So Font Awesome, okay, version 6, save and close. We don't need to import that. They are already there for us. Let's go into our user story. Okay, the first user story of my portfolio should have a welcome section and with an ID of welcome section. Okay, before we do all these welcome sections, if you remember, we have 4 stories. This would be a 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to create 4 sections. Go section. I'm going to Control C. 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. Okay. Before we jump in, we need to add a navigation. If you go back to our Bootstrap, copy this one over here, come back up and do Control V. Let's look at if we have Bootstrap. Yep, and the navigation works because we added Bootstrap and your background color is there. We are not going to work on the navigation just yet. All right, let's look at our user story. We need to add a welcome section. So I'm going to copy this. I just don't want to make any typing errors. So inside our first section, I'm going to give an ID. I'm going to paste that, and let's look at our user story number 2. The welcome section should have an H1 element contains the text. Okay, our text for our H1 is on road to web development, so that is going to be our text. Go back, create a H1 tag on road to, I'm gonna add a break tag because we wanted to break the sentence into 2, and at the same time I'm also going to add a span tag. Inside the span, one says web. I'm going to break this again, and the last one is going to be development. Just save this for a second, have a look how it looks. Yep, oh, typos. On road to, not road. Let's look at it. Okay, looks good. Add some styles to it. All right, before we start styling our section, main section, I just want to give you some advice that if you go into Pixels and look for free workspace and pick any background from these free or royalty-free images that would work for you. I picked a couple of images for myself, and I'm going to use those images and I'm going to add some styles to it. So I'm going to welcome section, which is what we've given to us by. I'm going to do a display of flex to it. I'm going to make sure the width of this one is completely 100%. And I'm going to give margin, top and bottom, everything to be 0. And I'm going to make it padding completely 0 as well. In order to add a background image, you need to do as a background image, which takes in a URL. Inside that URL, you can paste it. Say, for example, if you wanted to use this image, right, just click on it. You can do free download, or I believe you can copy the link. Yeah, you can just right click and copy the link and paste it over there. Let's go back. I have my own image, which I actually hosted it on the GitHub. You can use different forms to locations and places where you can host your images. Best places to do is Wix, Google Photos. I'm going to Flickr, Dropbox as well. And I don't know why GitHub is not there, but GitHub should also be there in the top 10, which is free. And I'm going to make this as a background. I'm sorry, this should be size to be cover. background position should be center. Background attachment is going to be fixed. So if we save this, just have a look to see how the image looks. There you go. We got our image working, and we're going to quickly add some more styles to it. Now we have a welcome section and we have a header right over here, and we need to add some styles to it. So in order to target H1 this way, it would be much easier so that it doesn't conflict with the other H1s which you have it on your site. And we're going to use the font family which I was talking about, which is going to be the Genos. That's where I'm going to insert the font family. And we're going to give some letter spacing, which is going to be 3 pixels. The font size, it's going to be a little bit huge. Go say 6RE, oh, not 6REM. And I'm going to make the text alignment to be center. I'm going to give the position a little bit of absolute. I'm going to give a top as 27%. I'm going to give left, which is also going to be 6%. Let's do a max width of 60%, and let's see how this looks. If I do full page, there you go. It looks on the road to web development. I just wanted to iterate to you guys that I'm actually zoomed in at 133. If I unzoom it, this is how it looks. And I'm also using a larger screen, so it all changes. It's not going to be the same on your monitor because you need to style it the way you want. But I just wanted to show you the difference, how it is going to look. We're going to start with section 2. Let's see what section 2 was. Section 2 is this. It's going to be a little bit of about yourself. Come up with a text where you can introduce yourself, saying that, hey, I am learning HTML, CSS. These are my projects which I'm going to show, but I wrote my own text. I'm going to use that text. In order to do it, go back to your section 2 which you created and give some ID. This is not part of the challenge or user story, but this is something which we are doing for ourselves. And we are going to give a class, say, intro text, because we have if you have a look at it, we have text will be sitting on the left side and you have text image will be on your right side. So this is where the text is going to be. And I'm going to give a p tag. Inside the paragraph tag, I'm going to add my text. So I think I already wrote it, so I'm just going to copy and paste the text over here. And once that is done, we're going to create another, which is going to be a div for our intro image. If you type in just class and the intro, whichever you want, and hit tab key, automatically it opens it for you. All right, now in order to import an image, all you have to do is use image element, hit tab. Okay, you need to save it. All right, let's save this. Okay, pen is saved. When you do image and tab, it gives you the source where you wanted to add the source from, and alternative. Alt means like if the image doesn't load, what do you want it to display? So I want to say TC logo. And I'm hosting my images on the GitHub. So I'm just going to copy that and I'm going to paste it over here. I'm going to save this. Let's say comment. I'm going to say section 2 intro. All right, let's do quickly. Intro, we gave an ID, right? So I'm going to give it a height, say 700 pixel, and I'm going to say the width should be always 100 50%, or you can make it smaller if you want. It should be width. Display, I'm going to give it as, say, flex. On the justify content to be center, and I want the text alignment to be center, and padding top 30 pixel. I'm going to do intro text. We need to give some width to our intro text, say max width. My typing is really bad today. It's going to do 60%. Height, how much height? Say 88%. Background, no, I don't need background. Padding 10 REM and 2 REMs. Margin, I want the left to be 5%, and I'm also going to target the paragraph tag, which is right over here, to be intro p tag. Font, oh wait, I'm going to give the Lexent, which is the other font style which we got it from. Gonna paste that. Let's say letter spacing, it's going to be 1 pixel. Font size, we want it to be 2 REM. Font weight, I want it to be lighter. So intro text P, span, I'm gonna give a separate color CD2A51. That I'm gonna give font style to be italic, so that looks something different compared to the regular font. I'm going to give font weight. There are different ways to target font weight. Font weight can be done by 100, 200, 300, 700. You can do bold, or you can do lighter. Different ways you can use it. So I'm using like different styles to target, so that you can choose whichever thing you are comfortable using. So the other one is going to be intro image. I'm going to say the width to be 100, height to be 25%. Wait, intro, I want to target this image, which is the image itself. So it is inside the intro image as the image tag, or the image element. I'm going to make it the vertical alignment, should be vertical aligned to be middle. Width, I'm going to give it a 50%. Margin top is going to be 10%. Save this. Now what do we need to do? We need to go back and look at our user stories. So we did user story number 2. Now we're going to cover user story number 3. My portfolio should have projects section with an ID of projects. So copy. All right, so we created a section which is going to be section 3, right? So inside this section, I'm going to give an ID and paste it over here. It is called as projects. How are we going to place our projects? If we go and have a look at ours, we built these 4 projects: a tribute page, survey form, technical documentation page, and a landing page. We have these 4, which has a header, a little bit of blurb, header, blurb, header, blurb, and we are going to build that. So we need to give like 4 containers, and whenever a user goes and clicks on it, it should direct the person to it, to the project which you worked on. In order to do it, we're going to give a anchor tag, type A and enter, hit not enter, but hit tab. It will open as an anchor tag. We go in and we need to do a dev container. Copy this. 1, 3, 4. Okay. And we're going to add some links to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my first project, which is going to be the tribute page. Goes over here. Inside this div, what we're going to do is we need to add some styles. Before that, why don't we go back and have a look to what the next user story is. The project section should contain at least one element with the class of projectile to hold the project. So copy, go over here. Oh, wait, damn it. We need to give a class as projectile. I'm going to give this projectile class to all my devs. I should have done that instead of doing this. All right, I gave projectile to all my 4 projects. So what I'm going to do is we're going to slowly build our section. This is going to be the top left, top right, bottom left, and bottom right. So I'm going to give all those 4 classes to my sections. So the first one is going to be projectile, and this will hold top left, dev container, projectile, top right. This will be bottom left, and this is going to be bottom right. User story number 5. The project section should contain at least one link to a project. Okay, one link to a project, which we added over here, which is our core print project. All the way on the top, add a image for our project. So I'm going to give a call it as image, right? Because we're going to target this image, the first top left. The image, I'm going to do image alternative, going to be FCC tribute page, and I am hosting my images on GitHub. Let me copy that, paste this. Okay, this is done for the image. Now we need to place our content, which is a little bit of description about what the project is all about, and which is going to have a header tag, which is going to be FCC tribute page. And we need to have a little bit of a blurb, which is going to be a paragraph. Let's use some text. Copy it. It says used HTML, CSS for this project. Plain CSS was recommended because that is what we learned in the first lesson when we did the tribute page. That's all it is, nothing else. Do the same thing for our remaining 3. So gonna save this. Let's target one at a time. Let's go back to your section. Where is it? Start from here. Section 3 starts over here, right? First one first. Let's look at our projects. So target the project section, and we want, just for our sanity, Let's add some background so that we know what exactly is going on in our section. And after that, I'm going to comment this background color and save this. Actually, I'm going to give a height. Now we are going to target all our projects. Actually, I forgot to create a class which holds all projects. I'm going to minimize all these 1, 2, 3, 4 sections that I created. That's what I was thinking. I'm missing something. I'm going to place everything inside this div which holds all the projects. I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to save this. That's the container for our projects. That would be the right word. And all projects will have a margin of 0% so that it can be in the center, and 0 in auto. I'm going to give a max width of 95%. And what else can we do? We're going to do grid. We never did grid. I've always used Flexbox. Instead, we are going to use CSS grid style. So in order to use it, we have to change the display. We're going to make that as grid, and you need to give a grid template, and it's going to be columns. I'm going to do 1 FR and 1 FR. It's going to be 2 columns. So 1 FR will one left, one to the right. And we're going to give some padding between them. So padding will be top at 3%. You won't be able to see this right now because all my images are super. All right, and all the projects do hold a anchor tag, which is A. I'm going to remove any decorations like the blue color text which will be on the text. I'm going to remove that. I'm also going to give some styles to the top, left, right, bottom, and everything which we created for this 4 sections. It's going to make it as display as text. Now I'm going to give those 4 sections color. I just wanted to show you 6. I'm going to remove all these colors later. This is just for me to understand how the div containers are placed. So top right, it's going to give a background color of purple. I'm going to do bottom right. What should I go? Bottom right, say background color hashtag E8 3E8C, and say bottom left. I'm gonna give a background color 28A745. And the last thing is I have this image and I need to target this image source. So because these images are really huge, so I'm going to target that image img, let's say width 320 pixel, height of those images to be 208 pixel, padding left, right, top right, bottom left 20 pixel. I'm going to give a border radius of 40 pixel. I'm going to target this content as well, which has a class of content. I'm going to do text decoration on that to be none. I'm going to give a color of white. I'm going to give a padding of 66 pixel, top 10, right pixel, bottom 0, left 0. Is that a line height? Yeah, I'm going to give a line height to be 1. And I'm going to target this h4 tag inside the content. Content h4. Font size to be 2rem. Font weight 700. Color CD2A51. What else can we do? And the last one is the paragraph inside the content. I'm going to give a font size as 1.125 rem. Font weight, we're going to do Lexend, so I'm going to copy that font weight, paste it over here, and font family, not font weight. And the font weight is going to be lighter. All right, let's look at how it looks right now. Okay. All right. So the reason why I did this now, it gives you an idea of how your boxes are placed and where exactly they are. So if I go full page and reduce my pixel screen size, this is how it is placed right now, and we're going to add more styles to it, so bear with me. I'm going to fix all that. So when we look at our image over here, there is some spacing on top of the FCC, the title, and the image is a little bit lower to the right. So currently both are sitting on the same row. If you look at it, project 1, project 2, project 3 and 4, they're all on the same line. So I'm going to do is add some margin top. So top right should get a margin top, say 60 pixel. And we also going to target bottom right margin top of exactly the same as 60 pixel, so that it pushes a little bit further. Have a look at this. The first one is on the top, the second is to the right, to the lower. It gives you like a different style. I gave these backgrounds just to give an idea of what is going on. If we go back and remove our background colors, like comment these ones out, it's a good idea to add some backgrounds so that you exactly know what is going on in your section. So I'm going to remove the entire backgrounds of the, save this, go full page, right? Okay, there you go. See how it looks right now. You have your images, you have your header, you have a title, everything is placed the way you want it to be placed. So this is the way I do it. Maybe you have a better style of working. Good for you. Whatever works for you is the option which you should always follow. And we finished projects. We're going to create this contact me section. Before we jump in, and do the contact, I wanted to go back and check to see if there are any user stories which we need to fulfill. We did this projectile, we added the entire projectile to our projects, and let's look at it. And number 5, the project section should contain at least one link to a project. Go back. We have CodePen over here, which when you click on it takes you to the page. Let's try it out. When you click on it, it takes you to the page. Okay, we have that one link. And let's go bring this down, go back down. And is there any other user stories which we need to do? User story number 6. My portfolio should have a navbar with an ID of navbar. Okay, so now we need to go back all the way to our navigation section, which we haven't touched it at all, which is all the way on the top. It is pretty ugly, actually. So we're going to fix that. So our nav should have a navbar ID. So navigation, it is confusing. Let's say navigation starts here, not hers, here. All right, and we need to add a ID. Lowercase. Got navbar. All right. What's next? Once the navigation is done, the navbar should contain at least one link that I can click on to navigate to a different section. Okay. So if we go back into our list items, and we have all these anchor tags which are empty. The first one, what we're going to do is we're going to name this as home. Okay, fine, but I don't need this span tag. So, and this is going to be welcome section. Why? Because this is the ID which we gave over here for the line 35, which has to be correspond to the same anchor tag over here. And it's not going to be features, it's going to be about me. And this one was intro. The third one was projects. I'm going to do projects. Oh, I'm going to add one more. So I'm going to copy this, paste it. The last one, I'm going to call it as contact me. Contact me. I'm gonna name this as contact me. We don't need this span. So, and I'm going to give a link to that text as well. So this one, I'm going to target the anchor tag. So copy this. It's going to be a navbar brand, and it's going to say traverse and create. So it's all the way set to the left, but I'm going to change this. And before we jump in and go, currently our navigation is all the way to the left side. I'm going to bring everything to the right side. In order to do this, if you look at line 20 over here, it says Mr. Auto. I'm going to change it to Miss Auto and save. And if you look at it, all my navigation is to the right. Now, what else can we do? Let's target our navigation brand. So go to CSS, say navigation. We're going to target navbar brand, which is all the way up top over here. I'm going to quickly give some font size. to rem. If I'll just keep it up so that you can see what is going on. The size increased. I'm going to add some letter spacing, which is going to be 3 pixel. I'm going to give a line height to be 1. I'm going to give font weight to be bold. I'm going to give margin left. Currently it is very close to the div container. I'm going to make it margin left. I'm going to save this. As you can see, it moved a little bit to the right. And I'm also going to target a couple of more things. So got navbar light. I don't think I will need background light, so I'm going to remove this class as bg light. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. I don't want the background. I need to get rid of that background. Instead, I'm going to add different one. So navbar brand, I'm gonna make the color white. There you go, it changed to white. Since I hover over it, it goes back to black again. So I'm going to target the same way I target initially. Do that. And instead over here, I'm going to make it as hover color FFF white. So if I hover over, it will still be whites. Navbar, nav, and then I'm going to target the nav links. I'm going to make it color white. I'm going to give a font size to rem. Margin right 1 rem. And navbar light, navbar nav, and nav link. I'm going to make this color to white. There you go. Immediately it changed from black to white. I want to change the hover functionality on these as well. Just copy the whole thing and make this as hover. Yep, change to white. And one more thing I want to do is I want to target navbar nav li list item. Cursor is going to be a pointer. Font weight is going to be bold. Border right going to be 8 pixels solid. CD2A51. I didn't add hover. Okay, see the blue, the pink popping up when we hover. So functionality works. So if we save this, let's have a look and look at this. It's coming along. Our hover functionality also works. Our traverse, we going to work on our traverse. Okay, so we didn't target the span tag yet. So navbar brand span tag, which should be color black, and I'm going to give a font weight bold. And if you look at over here, automatically it changed to black. All right, so let's see if we are on home. Okay, it doesn't change. Let's click at about me to see if it takes us to the about me section. There you go, it takes us to the about me. Takes you to the projects. We haven't created contact me section, so it won't work. So let's go home to see if it works. There you go, home also works. So we fulfilled our user story number 7. Now let's look at user story number 8. My portfolio should have a link with an ID profile link, which opens up in a FCC profile in a new tab. All right. So in order to do that, we need to create our last section, which is this one over here. So when you click on this GitHub, it has to open in a new section. So go back to CodePen, the last section which we have, bring it down. And this one, we're going to give an ID, which is not part of the user story. So it's going to be contact me, because this is the contact me which we used in your anchor tag. When you click on this one, it will take you there. So let's have a look. Contact me. There you go. It brings you over there. But I'm going to add some height to it. Okay, just don't worry. And scroll all the way down. Contact me will have a class which is going to have a header. I'm going to call it as a punchline. That will hold a h1 tag. It's going to say let's create. I'm going to break this into 2 lines, and I'm going to call it as together. And I'm also going to place all my social in one section, which is, if you go back and have a look, all the way to my right side, it says follow me on my socials. That's going to be a social tab. H4, it says follow me on. I'm going to break this again. My socials. And I'm going to give anchor tags. So basically what you need to do is whenever user clicks on GitHub, Freecodecamp, CodePen, Twitter, and Instagram, it should take them to your profile page. What I'm going to do is, let's do GitHub first. Say anchor p tag, which is going to be GitHub. GitHub. Save this. And we are going to add a font awesome. So in order for the font awesome to work, go to font awesome, look at GitHub, click on this, copy this, go back to FCC where it says GitHub, give it a space and paste it. Save this. It should work. It works, but it's all the way to the left side. We didn't give any styles to it, so we will work on giving more styles to it. We need to give an ID of profile link. ID, yeah, profile link. Actually, I'm going to add another one, and this one I'm going to add a profile link to this. I'm going to give it to GitHub. Right. ID, profile, link. When my portfolio should have at least one media query, I will work on these media queries at the end. I'm going to add the remaining medias. If you have Freecodecamp, all you have to do is paste your Freecodecamp link over here. It comes and saves. I'm going to add a one for CodePen. And if you have Twitter, you can add one for Twitter. If you have Instagram, you can add one for Instagram. And I'm going to lastly do a one for email. I'm going to do span. I'm going to give a class to the span. You're not supposed to, but I'll just give it anyway. So H4, It says reach out for break a collab, and I'm going to add a p tag. It says hello at awesomewebsite.com, and I wanted to add a footer. Why don't we finish giving some styles to our section 3, which is the contact me section. Contact me. All right, we gave an ID to lowercase. Contact me, it's going to have a color of FFF. Height. Okay, now if we go back and have a look at our user story, user story number 10, the height of the welcome section should be equal to the height of the viewport. We didn't do this. If we go all the way to our welcome section, I gave a height of say 100 VH. That means like whenever you increase or decrease your viewport, the height should always be, it covers the entire viewport of your screen. Contact me right over here, right? So I'm going to do VH 100 viewport height, background color CD2851, margin top 20%. So this is what I meant by viewport height. So when you look at it over here, my viewport starts right below the black and it has this pink over here, and all the styling needs to be done. I'm going to do it, but this is what they want by viewport height to be. Okay, remove this. Contact me will have an H4, font size going to be 3REM, line height is going to 0.85, and the punch line which we added, it's going to have a margin 10%. I think I can do 10. Top right, bottom left, and I want the width to be 46%, and we're going to target the header inside the punch line, which was H1 tag, text, align, center, no, left. There you go, now it works. Font size going to be font 5REM, and line height is going to be 0.85 as well. Going to target all those social. I'm going to align them to the right. They were all to the left. Let's look, save, go back. Click on contact, takes you over there. Ooh, there you go. Let's create, follow me on the right. We're going to add some margin. I'm going to remove the text decoration. So I want to give some margin to the right side. It is touching the div container. So I'm going to give 2%. I'm going to target those anchor tags inside the social div class, which has a text decoration of blue. I'm going to remove the text decoration so that it can be white and visible. Text decoration none. I need to give a color of white so that it's more visible. Font size 1.5 REM. line height 0.85. Email is there. Text align, want it to be right as well. P tag, so I'm going to target the P tag. I want to make that font size 1.125 REM as well. So save this, bring it up, click on contact me, and there you go. Let's look at full page. There you go. Let's see. If I click on GitHub, will it take me to the new page? Oops. All right. There's something wrong. Let's fix this. GitHub, why did you fail? Oh, because we didn't give target underscore blank. Okay, GitHub. Okay, opens up in our GitHub profile. Footer, I'm gonna give a background color, kind of dark gray, 373636. Text alignment, it's going to be all the way to far right, and I'm going to give some letter spacing. It's going to be 3 pixel. I'm going to give font weight to be, all right, Portfolio 2022. Use this as a template and don't copy the code. You're better than that. Happy coding. That's what we're going to add it in the footer. All right, now what else is left? The height of the welcome section, we did the user story number 10. The navbar should always be on the top view. Okay. So in order to do it, all you have to do is go to navigation section and add fixed top. If you look at it, whenever you scroll to different section, your navigation will be on the top. Like see, it's right here for you. Okay. And last one, we need to create a media query. In order to do this, going to try to keep your media queries always at the end, or whichever way you want. You can write media queries for every section. I like to do my media queries all the way at the end. So add media screen, and I'm gonna add a max width of 468 pixel. I'm going to target navbar, our brand, which is right over here, which is pretty big. On mobile, it looks pretty big as well. So I want to reduce the size of it to 1.5 REM. And what else? I'm going to target this section only for now so that you understand how the styles are done. Welcome section, which has a H1. If we go over here, which is on the left, road to web development, I'm going to add some font size. And 2.5 REM left, 20%. Let's go full page, and we're going to change the view and do inspect. I'm going to dock it to the right. I'm going to change the view to mobile and have a look at it. This is how at iPhone 11 our header, the navigation brand, is going to be to the top left with a smaller font. Our text will be in the middle. Image is not going to be complete because it's a background image. We're going to add some flex direction to our intro section. The image goes on the top and the text comes at the bottom. So that's why I gave the flex direction as column reverse. And I'm going to reduce the image size. Currently the image size is pretty big. On the mobile, I want it to be a little bit smaller and have some margin on the left. So I gave a margin that, and right now I'm going to add some width, which is going to be 60%. So if I go and do the same thing, full width, inspect, change this, there you go. I'm going to add some styles to the text or the intro paragraph, which is reduce the font size to 1. Projects, I want it to have a automated height to that, and all the projects which are inside that div container of, where did it go? Here, div container, all projects, line 75. I'm going to target that. I'm gonna do a grid style. Currently we gave a grid 2 FRs. I'm going to just do 1 F for those, the text to be that, and all the content inside will also have some, if I can add some padding to the content. I think I need to add some styles for the 4 divs which we created. We're going to have a width of 100%, margin will be there. And the punchline also has a header. I'm going to target that header. Let's go have a look at full page view. Inspect. Mobile. Like, have a look at it. Our text changed. Everything. Center. Image is centered. Tribute page. All these. Social looks good, everything on the left. Let's see if we passed all our test cases. Before we jump in and look at our test cases, whether it passed or not, what did we learn so far? We learned how to create all 4 projects. We know how to do styles, we know how to use grid, we know how to use different aspects of form elements which we learned in using this project. We know how to use navigation bar, use it for a technical documentation page. We created a product page by using grid, flexbox, and finally we were able to add some socials to it. So let's go up, open this. It's not technical documentation, it is going to be a personal portfolio page. Run the test, and we failed 1. Let's look at it, what it is. My portfolio should have a ID profile link, opens my GitHub or FCC in a new tab. Look at it. What is it? Freecodecamp.org. ID profile link. Maybe this would work. There you go. That's all it is. I need to add a ID. Take your time, have a look at it. If you have any problems, just go into the past section over here or click on it. It tells you which ones you need to work on. If you have any issues, you can always go back and look at your responsive web design. All the material is right over here in order for you to finish this one. Until then, happy coding.